Let us talk about conductance of electrolytic solution. Why do we need to study this? First of all, let us understand what are electrolytic solutions. The solutions which allow electricity to pass through them are called electrolytic solutions. Also, why do we need to study the relationship between conductance and electrolytic solution? Because there are many factors of electrolytic solution that affect the conductance of electricity in them, and that is why we need to study this relationship. Okay, let us talk about first the things which you already know. You know about conductors but in solid state, like copper wire. We use copper wires to conduct electricity from one place to another. So you all are well aware with it. Now you must have studied about resistance as well in your physics, and the resistance is denoted by symbol R, that is directly proportional to length of the wire and area of cross section of the wire. L being the length of the wire, A being the area of cross section. Or if you simply remove the proportionality sign, so R is equal to rho into L upon A. Now what is rho? Rho is called resistivity. It's a constant which is called resistivity. Okay, we know the units of R, that is resistance, is ohm. Or if we solve it, the unit of resistivity, that is rho, given over here. So from this equation, rho is equal to R into A upon L. So R is ohm, A is meter square upon length is meter. This gets cancelled. So we get the unit of resistivity to be ohm meter. Okay, but it is generally expressed in ohm centimeter. So unit of rho is equal to ohm centimeter, that is resistivity. Okay, one more thing, the important thing over here is how do you define resistivity? So look at this expression. If you take the area of cross section of the wire to be 1 meter square, and if you take the length of the wire to be 1 meter, then this become 1, this become 1, rho is equal to R. That means resistivity is resistance of a wire having unit length and unit area of cross section. Okay, I hope you understood this. This is very simple, but we are talking about conductance. So why did we study about resistance? Because conductance of electricity from a wire depends upon resistance of the wire, and conductance is denoted by a symbol G. So G is a symbol for conductance, and G is exactly equal to the resistance. Less the resistance, more is the conductance. More the resistance, less is the conductance of the wire. So G is equal to 1 upon R. So if we write down the expression of G, so G will be equal to, now since R is rho into L upon A, so G will be 1 upon rho into A upon L. Okay, so 1 upon rho is given a new name, a new symbol, that is kappa. It's a Greek letter, it's not K, it's kappa, but it looks like K. You can write it like K, into area of cross section, that is A upon L. Okay, so if you want to define kappa, kappa is called, since rho was called resistivity from resistance, kappa is called conductivity from conductance. Okay, kappa is also a constant. How do you define kappa? So just look at this formula again. When you take area of cross section to be 1 meter square and length to be 1 meter, then kappa is equal to G. So we can say that conductance is equal to conductivity when the area of cross section is 1 meter square and length of the wire is 1 meter. Okay, let us move on to the unit. What about unit? Unit of G. Since it is inverse of resistance, G is inverse of resistance, unit of G is ohm inverse, and ohm inverse, if you look at this expression, G is equal to 1 upon R, ohm inverse is also called mho. So it's very simple. Ohm, you reverse it to be mho or ohm inverse. This is given a new name, Siemens. So it is denoted by symbol S, capital S, Siemens. So unit of G conductance is Siemens. Okay, what about unit of conductivity? Kappa. So from this expression, if you write down the expression of conductivity, it becomes equal to G into L upon A. So G is Siemens, L is meter upon meter square. So this gets cancelled. The unit comes out to be Siemens meter inverse, or usually expressed as Siemens centimeter inverse. So unit of kappa becomes Siemens centimeter inverse. This is unit of kappa. I hope you understood this. Okay, let us move on. Now let us talk about how does conductivity differ from metals, non-metals and metalloids. That is, you can say conductors, semiconductors and insulators, because we divide the material into these three types depending upon their conductivity value, that is kappa value. So for metals, value of kappa is very high. For non-metals, it's very low. For metalloids, it's in between. So their conductivity can be increased by some or the other methods. Okay, I'll just give you one example, that is conductivity of silver is 6.2 into 10 raised to 3. Copper is 5.9 into 10 raised to 3. So you can say silver's conductivity is slightly higher than copper. Let us talk about insulators. If you take Teflon or you take glass, so let us take glass only. Glass is an insulator. It has a conductivity of 1 into 10 raised to minus 16. You can see for yourself how much lower the value of conductivity is for insulators. For semiconductors, let's take silicon. The value is 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 2. Okay, so this is the value of conductivity. So high for metals, extremely low for non-metals, that is why they are insulators. And in between for metalloids, this can be increased by doping it with some other impurities. Okay. Also, one more important thing you should know, that these are electronic conductors. Electronic conductors. Why they are called electronic conductors? Because the conductance basically happens due to flow of electrons. So there is flow of electron, that is why conductivity occurs in them. So they are called electronic conductors. But solutions like electrolytes, you take KCl or NaCl, they are called ionic conductors, because the conductivity is caused by ions. These are responsible for conductivity. So they are ionic conductors.